Thanks for joining us for a North Greenville University chapel service.
What's up, North Greenville? I'm Chase Bridges, and this is what you need to know. February 17th at 9 p.m. in Turner Chapel, Res Life is hosting the Roommate Game. Grab a roommate or one of your suite mates and come play for a chance to win $50. February 26th from 3 to 6 p.m. at Haywood Mall in Greenville, we're doing the JCPenney Suit Up event. February 16th in Hamlin Recital Hall, NGU's Black Student Fellowship is going to be having a movie night. They're going to be viewing the documentary 13th. Would you like to be the new face of the What You Need to Know? All you have to do is email chapel@ngu.edu for your chance to audition to be the new What You Need to Know person. And that is what you need to know. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and make sure you're checking your NGU email to keep up to date with events on campus. I'll see you guys next week.
How many of you are honestly like, I really want to be the next What You Need to Know person? I've talked to like 4 people. We've got one right there. Yes, yes. Well, I'm excited that you're here. They're like, I don't know if I want to be. You should be the next What You Need to Know person. I'm excited for this morning and for what we've got going on at Chapel. Are y'all feeling good this morning? Yeah. You don't sound very good. Are y'all feeling good this morning? Yeah. Hey, I'm excited for this morning for a lot of different reasons, but today we're actually going to be having our Act 2 drama team come up and lead us, which is very exciting. Let's give it up for Act 2. Yeah, the Act 2 team is a team that goes out over the weekend and does basically a drama skit and actually does this to lead people to Jesus and show people the beauty of the gospel, which is phenomenal because today and all throughout this month we've been talking about identity and how our identity is found in Christ. But today, more than ever, we're going to see how our identity can be found and rooted in Christ, but God gives us different gifts and talents and abilities to point people to himself. And so today we're going to get to see even just a little bit of that with these guys and their phenomenal acting skills. And how cool is it that these guys have seen, well, my identity is found in Christ and I want to use my gifts and talents and I want to push people to Jesus. And that's what hopefully all of us in our own lives, we will also do. God, I know you have something for me. My identity is found in you. But what are the specific gifts and talents and abilities you've put in me that I can use to glorify you? So that's what we're going to be having today. Act 2 is going to come and lead us. Can we all give a big round of applause for Act 2? Hey
guys, so we are Act 2. We just want to tell you guys a little bit about ourselves. We are a drama ministry team, so that means we do drama, of course. So if there's anything that you find funny, please laugh. We want to hear it. And this is a huge room with not that many people in it. Please let us hear your laughter. If there's something that, might make you cry, go ahead and cry. We like that too. We are also a ministry team, so we have biblical truths in our message, and we hope that you guys hold on to those and remember those and can apply them to your lives, and also talk to your neighbors about it. Get some other ideas going. So with that, we are Act 2. My name is Tansy Davis, and I am a senior theater major.
My name is Michael Thomas, and I'm a senior interdisciplinary studies major.
My name is Megan Mosier, and I'm a freshman communications major.
My name is Abigail Dover, and I'm a freshman theater major.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Duncan. I'm a senior theater major.
My name is David Davis, and I'm a junior mathematics major.
My name is Kale Morse, and I am a sophomore theater major.
Hey, I'm Lydia Keitel, and I'm a sophomore early childhood education major.
Mirror, mirror, on the wall, who's the fairest one of all?
A mirror. An object so that each narrow beam of light that hits its surface bounces off in a singular direction. This property, called specular reflection, distinguishes a mirror from other objects, which scatter light in many directions, allow it to pass through them or absorb it.
Or, more simply, a polished or smooth surface that forms images by reflection.
Have you ever heard that it's bad luck to break a mirror? This is a superstition from Roman times. The Romans believed that by breaking a mirror, you break your soul.
Jewish people would cover all the mirrors in the house for several days after the death of a close family member. They believe that a mirror can trap the spirit of a dead person, preventing the soul from moving on to the afterlife.
In Greek mythology, a man named Narcissus is punished by the gods. He sees himself in some water and falls in love with the image. Unable to tear himself away from his own reflection, he wastes away by the side of the pool.
On a lighter note, here's a mirror joke for you. Two guys are putting up a mirror during a remodel, but being do-it-yourself novices, they struggle all day. Finally, they get the mirror hung in place, but it looks awful. Uneven, smeared, just horrible. At this point, one guy turns to the other and says, "Well, this reflects poorly on us both."
I took the rearview mirror out of my car. Haven't looked back since.
I applied for a job inspecting mirrors. It's a job I could really see myself doing.
In news today, a fight was started downtown by a man wearing a suit completely made of mirrors. Police said the man apologized once he had time to sit down and reflect.
What do you see when you look in the mirror? Your flaws, your failures, your imperfections?
Those 5 pounds you just can't seem to lose. That gray hair you know wasn't there yesterday.
Or maybe you see bits and pieces of someone else in your reflection. Your father's eyes.
Your mother's nose.
Aunt Edna's freckles.
But maybe we should look for something more.
Do you ever see yourself as a child of promise?
Marked by the fingerprints of a creator.
Do you ever see the image of God?
Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth.
You have set your glory in the heavens.
Through the praise of children and infants, you have established a stronghold against your enemies, to silence the foe and the avenger.
When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon, and the stars which you have set in place.
What is mankind that you are mindful of them? Human beings that you care for them.
You have made them a little lower than the angels and crowned them with glory and honor.
You have made them rulers over the works of your hands. You have put everything under their feet.
All flocks and herds and the animals of the wild.
The birds in the sky and the fish in the sea, all that swim the paths of the sea.
Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth.
The psalmist asks, what is mankind that you are mindful of him? Human beings that you care for them.
What is a human being worth?
The age-old question of man.
Shakespeare explores this in Hamlet. What a piece of work is man. How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty. In form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights me not.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
What does it mean to be human? Are we simply a random conglomeration of atoms? A strange and confusing accident of particulate matter?
A random soup of cells thrown together by mindless chance?
With every fiber of my being, with every cell, muscle, joint, and synapse, I declare no!
We are a part of the glory of creation.
Brought into being by the divine creator.
A masterpiece by the greatest artist of all.
Written into existence by the author of time and space.
Written with purpose to have purpose.
Life has an author and life has a story.
There is a plot. There is a plan. And there's a clue to this plan in a story from the book of Luke. The story begins with one of the most enduring, all-encompassing issues of human existence.
Taxes.
One day, as Jesus was teaching the people in the temple courts and proclaiming the good news, the chief priests and teachers of the law were keeping a close watch on him. They sent spies who pretended to be sincere, but actually they were trying to test Jesus by asking him to choose between the rights of the Jewish people and the laws of the Roman Empire.
Teacher, we know that you speak and teach what is true, and that you do not show partiality, but teach the way of God in accordance with the truth.
So tell us, teacher, is it right for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not?
Well, it's not, right? Taxes are bad.
Show me a denarius.
A denarius was worth about 1 day's wages.
I have a denarius. Do you have a denarius?
No, spent my last denarius at Starbucks.
What about you? You got a denarius?
Yeah, I got a denarius, but am I gonna get it back?
I don't know. Just give him a denarius.
Would you stop saying denarius, please? We'd like to get on with the story.
Okay.
Whose image and inscription are on this coin?
Nothing says
Caesar.
Caesar's.
Then give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's.
Oh, man.
Oh, does this mean we do have to pay taxes?
Imagine if those men had truly listened to the words of Jesus, instead of merely trying to trap him in a legalistic argument. Imagine if they'd heard him say, "Give to God what is God's," and asked a follow-up question.
What belongs to God?
Because if they knew the coin belonged to Caesar because his image was on it, and if it belongs to him, should be given fully and freely back to him, doesn't it beg the question?
Whose image is on you?
And the answer to that question is found in the very beginning, Genesis 1. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness."
So, God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them.
Created in his own image.
The image of God.
The Latin words are imago Dei.
Imago Dei.
Imago Dei, image of God.
What does that even mean? How can we comprehend it? The image of God.
We are told that God has taken special care in our creation. Psalm 139 says, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well."
My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth.
Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before even one of them came to be.
And God breathed his spirit into us and created an image, a likeness of himself.
A reflection of his glory.
A reflection, as in a mirror. Not the thing itself, but something so like it that someone could look at it and say, "I know who that is. I see it. I see God."
I see God in you.
God's creativity.
God's mercy.
God's wisdom.
God's compassion.
Intelligence and rational thought.
The desire and ability to communicate.
The ability to worship and connect with the divine.
It's like when you step to the edge of a perfectly still, crystal clear lake, and the sky and the trees and the mountains behind them are all reflected in the lake. The breathtaking blues and greens and puffs of white clouds, and you almost can't tell where one starts and the other stops because the original and the reflection circle each other to make a complete and glorious whole.
Hey, that was really nice.
Oh, thanks.
There's an exercise actors do sometimes called the mirror exercise. One person is the mirror and the other is the leader. The mirror is supposed to mimic all of the movements and facial expressions of the leader. In order for it to work well, the mirror needs to be fully tuned in to what the leader is doing. They submit their own will to the will of the leader. The result can be mesmerizing and beautiful.
But we, as people, we're not great at mirroring God. Sometimes we look in the mirror, and instead of seeing God's image, we see a distortion, like in a carnival mirror.
I'm stupid.
I'm dirty.
I'm not good enough.
And sometimes, most of the time, we want to go our own way instead of following God's way. The image can become imperfect and even crack and shatter.
The mirror becomes cloudy, covered by a film of sin.
For now we see through a glass darkly. But then, face to face.
Someday, the darkness will be lifted, and we will be face to face with our Creator.
And God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There will be no more pain, for the former things have washed away.
But we've skipped ahead to the end of the story. Let's back up a little.
Because knowing the end of the story is great, but we still need to walk through the middle part. You know, the part where we're cracked and broken. And the image we see reflects a lot more darkness than it should.
I was selfish and headstrong.
I was a greedy man.
I had sexual sin in my life.
I had problems with anger.
I went to the well at the hottest time of the day because I wanted to, okay? I knew I would be alone then, with no one to bother me or make fun of me. I didn't want to hear one more person give me their opinion about how to live or who to talk to or why I wasn't as good as anyone else. I didn't care anymore. Yeah, I'd had 5 husbands. You think I didn't know that? You think I didn't know what my reputation was in this village? I didn't care anymore, and I was going to do what I wanted when I wanted, and no one was going to tell me anything different. And so when that man Jesus came in and asked me for a drink, I went ahead and gave it to him. I know he wasn't supposed to be talking to me, a woman, let alone what kind of woman I was. And I know I sure wasn't supposed to be talking back to him, but like I said, I do what I want when I want. And so I gave him a drink, and I started asking him some questions.
Look, no tax collectors are popular, all right? Nobody likes to give up their hard-earned money, and it's easy to blame the guy that comes to take it. I was even worse than the rest, though, because I was a Jew working for the Romans, taking from my own people to line the pockets of the enemy. I've got to tell you, I lined my own pockets quite a bit along the way. I figured everyone's going to hate me anyway, so I might as well make myself comfortable. I don't know what made me climb that sycamore tree when I heard that Jesus was coming through town. It was more physical exertion than I had in years. Branch just poking me in the eye, scraping my hands. But there was something about it. I just wanted to see him, and then I was planning on going back and enjoying the comforts of home. Feet up, nice glass of fig juice in my hand.
I don't know how they found out. I'd been seeing this man in secret for months, and we thought we were safe. I don't know. Maybe I was the only one who thought we were safe. Maybe he told them. He certainly wasn't anywhere to be found when they came and dragged me from my bed and into the town square. I looked everywhere for him, but I couldn't see him. At least he wasn't one of the ones holding a stone. I trembled and hid my head. I knew I was going to die. The noises and the smells and the dust choking me, it seemed to go on and on. But suddenly, it was quiet. I looked up and Jesus was standing there. "Teacher," one of them cried out, "this woman was caught in the very act of adultery. Now in the law, Moses commands us to stone such women. So what do you say?" I couldn't look Jesus in the eye. I was too ashamed. I just covered my face and waited for the first stone to land.
My brother James and me, we were called the Sons of Thunder. I guess that reflects more on my father than it does on us, but we did our best to live up to the name. The life of a fisherman is rough. You have to be strong to master the sea, and sometimes you have to use your fists for more than just pulling up nets. This one time, a guy from the next boat over was trying to steal some of our haul. I broke his nose. I just saw red, and the next thing I knew, he was lying on the ground at my feet, bleeding. Guess I brought the thunder. And even after Jesus picked us up to be part of his gang, I figured we were just there to be the bodyguards, the enforcers, you know? Sometimes those crowds got pretty out of control, and somebody had to be there to clear the way for Jesus. This one time, we were traveling into a pretty bad neighborhood, and it was getting pretty late. We were looking for a place to stay, but nobody would let us in, as if somehow we were the dangerous ones. Me and James were getting pretty riled up, and I looked at Jesus and said, "Lord, do you want us to call down fire from heaven and destroy them?" And Jesus told us to knock it off, and we moved on to the next village.
And he answered my questions. He told me that everyone who drank the water from the well would be thirsty again, but everyone who drank the water that he gave would never be thirsty and would have everlasting life. And he told me everything I'd ever done. And he looked me in the eye and said that he was the Messiah and that salvation would come through him. And it suddenly didn't matter anymore what I wanted. All I could do was run and tell everyone about this man, Jesus, and how because of him, nothing would ever be the same.
But when I saw him, everything changed, because he saw me right back. "Zacchaeus," he said, "come down out of that tree. We're going to your house tonight." And when I looked into his eyes and saw my greed and my darkness, I promised to repay everyone I'd stolen from, even though it would mean losing everything. And he said, "That's the point, Zacchaeus. You're already lost, and that's exactly why I've come, to seek and to save the lost."
Let whoever among you is without sin throw the first stone. Silence. I waited. Then noises changed. Feet shuffled and stones landed on the ground as they started to walk away. I dared to peek out from behind my arms, and only Jesus was standing there. Where are they? He asked me. Has no one condemned you? I could barely breathe, let alone answer. No one, sir. Then neither do I condemn you. Go, and from now on, sin no more. He let me live. He forgave me, and then my life began again.
It honestly took me a while to get it. Jesus was always talking to us about forgiveness and turning the other cheek and loving your enemy. I don't really think I got it until that night in the garden when Jesus fell asleep and we all left him alone. We all fell asleep and left Jesus alone. That night when he was arrested and there was nothing that any one of us could do to stop it. When he hung on the cross and cried out and bled and died. Then I got it. We were the enemy. I was the enemy. He died so that I could live. I remembered something that he had said. Greater love has no one than this, he that lays down his own life for his friends. And when I ran to that tomb, so fast I beat Peter, just saying. And I saw the cloths lying on the ground and the empty tomb. I finally understood. In him was life. And that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it.
The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it.
And because of Jesus' death on the cross and the power of his resurrection, we are all once again children of God and can rejoice in being an image of his glory.
So we are the reflection of God? I am the reflection of God? Now what?
What are we supposed to do about it? Where do we go from here?
We've been asking that question for centuries. Back to the Pharisees?
Hearing that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, the Pharisees got together. One of them, an expert in the law, tested him with this question.
Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?
To love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and the greatest commandment, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All of the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments.
Love my neighbor. Well, who is my neighbor?
And once again, Jesus' answer goes in a completely unexpected direction.
He tells the story of the Good Samaritan, which we've all heard 1,000,000 times in chapel. Be nice to people. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Easy, right? Easy to blow past and ignore the hard truths of what Jesus is really saying.
A man was on his way from Jerusalem to Jericho.
A distance of about 18 miles down a steep hill in desert-like conditions. With the isolated terrain, travelers on this road were easy targets for bandits. In fact, some referred to this dangerous road as the ascent of blood.
So, who is this man on the road? We don't know. He could be anybody, right? Well, we know he was coming from Jerusalem, the city of the Jews. We know he was robbed, so he had some material possessions. He wasn't completely poor. We also know he was alone and he was traveling a dangerous road. So he wasn't really rich either. Just your basic, average guy.
Basic, average, got it. I'm on my way from Jerusalem to Jericho.
When he was attacked by robbers,
What?
they stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away.
You know what? I think I changed my mind. Somebody else can be the basic average guy.
It's too late! You're in it now! Punch! Poke! Pow! Steal! I got his stuff!
And left him for dead.
I'm not dead yet.
A priest happened to be going down the same road, and he saw the man.
I'm not dead.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
Well, you will be soon. You're very ill.
I'm getting better.
No, you're not. You'll be stone dead in a moment.
I think I'll go for a walk. I feel happy. I feel happy. No, I don't.
Look, if you're dead, you're unclean and I can't touch you. Priests aren't allowed to do that.
But I'm not.
I really just don't think I can take that chance. Someone might see me and accuse me of being unclean. I really just don't think I can get involved in anything that might damage my reputation. Oh, here, I'll post something on Twitter for you. My thoughts and prayers are with you. Hashtag priest. Hashtag do something. Hashtag... Jesus. Great. Okay. Okay, bye.
And he passed by on the other side.
Not cool, man.
So too, a Levite came to the place and saw him.
What's a Levite? Levites worked in the temple with priests and were experts in the law.
A lawyer. Got it.
No, not exactly, but close enough.
You, sir, are blocking the road and must remove yourself immediately. Time is money, sir, and you're costing me both.
Help me.
I'm an incredibly busy and important person, can't you see? It doesn't look like you can afford my services, so I must be getting on my way. Just standing here talking to you is causing me a great inconvenience, and I have a schedule to keep. Besides, I have my own family to take care of, and if I help you, there won't be enough for them. Aren't they my primary responsibility? And the legal ramifications if something were to go wrong. What if you died on my watch? I could be held responsible. Not an acceptable risk-to-reward ratio, I am afraid. Good day, sir.
And he too passed by on the other side.
I don't like the way this story is going.
Hang on, it gets better. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came to where the man was.
Hey, I'm a Samaritan. But when you look at me, don't just see me. White skin, red hair, cute little dimple. See, the Jews, the audience of the story, hated the Samaritans. The Samaritans were considered mixed breeds, inferior, most definitely other, and despised. So who's your Samaritan? Oh, we're all good NGU students, right? So we don't despise anyone. But really, who is that person that you see on the street that you cross the street to avoid? The person who you might tolerate in public, but who in your heart of hearts you secretly fear and reject. The person whose color, ethnicity, lifestyle, or beliefs you secretly believe make them less than you. Have you found them? Can you picture them? Well, that's me. Hey.
The Samaritan came to where the man was, and he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine.
You're a Samaritan.
Yep.
We don't like you guys.
So I've heard.
I mean, we really don't like you. I'm talking decades of systemic oppression here.
I get it.
So then why are you doing this?
He told me to.
Then he put the man on his own donkey. He put the man on his own donkey!
Nope, again with the pushing! Come on! Listen, I did it last week. I just...
Rock, paper, scissors.
That seems fair. Okay. Are you ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! Rock, paper, scissors, shoot!
Oh, no, yeah, 2 and 3.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot!
Oh, no, please. Nope!
Hee-haw! You get the idea?
He put the man on his own donkey and brought him to an inn. He took care of him, and the next day, he took 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper.
Look after him, and when I return, I'll reimburse you for any extra expense he may have caused.
Even the mini fridge? Those tiny sprites can really add up, you know.
Even the mini fridge.
Okay, mister, it's your nickel. I mean, denarius.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hee-haw!
So which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers?
The one who had mercy on him.
Go and do likewise.
Go and do likewise.
Go and love your neighbor.
Your neighbor. Not just the guy who sits next to you in Old Testament and lets you look at his notes.
Your neighbor, the Samaritan.
The outcast.
To the oppressed.
The broken.
The least of these.
For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. And I was in prison, and you came to me. Truly, whatever you did for one of the least of these, you did to me.
And it's not just about being nice. It's not about earning points or being a good person.
It's about seeing the Imago Dei in each and every person that God has created in his divine wisdom and for his divine purpose.
The story of the Good Samaritan is a story of the imperative of love.
You cannot love God and deny the sacredness of those bearing his image.
And everyone bears the image of God, no matter what their outward appearance.
I have to wonder, if Jesus came among us today, how many of us would look away or cross the street to avoid him?
Isaiah 53 describes the Messiah as one who had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain.
Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem.
Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him, and afflicted.
But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed.
And when we put ourselves above other people, assuming that we are somehow better than they are, aren't we putting ourselves above Jesus?
Because Jesus, being in the very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage.
Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness.
And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. And if Jesus humbled himself, why can't we humble ourselves to obey God's commandments, to love him, and love one another?
What do you see when you look in the mirror?
What do you see when you look at your neighbor?
Can you recognize the Imago Dei?
And if you do, how can you not respond in love?
When you fall asleep tonight in your warm and cozy room, know that I am here and I got no shelter and food. I am not alone. My friends are broken and lost, looking for someone to lead them to my cross. I need your help. I need your help. Won't you be my voice calling? Won't you be my hands healing? Won't you be my feet walking into a broken world? Won't you be my chain breaker?
Wasn't that awesome? Wasn't that so incredible? Let's give it up for Act 2 one more time. That was just incredible. What's so amazing about what they do is they don't just talk about the image of God as it's something that we see in ourselves, which they do talk about it. Like, look in the mirror. You are created in the image of God. But then they challenge you and say, okay, you are in the image of God, but do you see the image of God in other people? Do you love people like they're created in God's image? Because they are. And what a phenomenal challenge for us, even as we go about our regular Monday and doing our classes and living our lives. Are we treating other people like who they are, which are people that are formed and created in God's image? If this was something that challenged you and inspired you, or maybe even pushed you to want to change, we obviously have the phone number that we put up each and every week. You can text that phone number for someone to reach out to you, for someone to be praying for you. But thank you guys so much for being here this morning. What a phenomenal job. If you see Act 2, just thank them for what they do. What a phenomenal use of their talents and their gifts and abilities for the name and renown of Jesus. But thank you guys for being at chapel this morning. You guys are dismissed. Have a great rest of your Monday.